So I want to talk to you today about the love languages and how they can be implemented in 2020, because it's slightly different. And when I did my last talk about love languages in March, that was before Corona had happened. So things have changed and we should move forward with the times. One of the points that I want to make today is that I think we need to stop looking into the future so much, because at the moment you look into the future and you're like, oh, I don't like the look of that. And you start to panic and you start to think, oh, I can't go on a holiday. What's there to look forward to? Just this week, my boyfriend's mood has been like very, very low. And he's been like, what is the point in life? And I'm like, oh my goodness, is this where we're at right now? Is this the situation? So let's just take a moment. This is for me more than anyone. Breathe. And let's have a little think about what we can be doing to communicate our love for those around us and to help each other through quite a difficult time. I want to talk about the 5 love languages, which are a theory that was developed by a man called Gary Chapman. And the idea behind the 5 love languages is that we all communicate our love in slightly different ways. So some of us are multilingual and we communicate love in many, many different ways. Probably smashing life, doing really well. Hate those people, don't really hate you. But you know, people that do really well, they're great communicators, they have lots of friends, they do well in relationships. And then there are the people who probably aren't as strong in some of the areas and struggle a bit more with the relationships as a result of this. Sometimes we miss each other because we're communicating with different love languages. Now, what I will say is that apparently the love languages, they're not backed by science, but they are fantastic in my opinion. Let me know what you think of them, and let me know whether you have anyone in your life who you think, oh my goodness, that's their love language and I had never realised that when they're doing those things that they are communicating love to me. Also have a little think about whether your love language is popping up or whether you think that you're someone who is multilingual. And if you do have a thought on this, I would love to hear what your love language is, and you can comment in the comments box below. Massive shout out to the 33 people that are already subscribing. Thank you so much. If you do like the video, make sure you do like, subscribe and comment. So the 5 love languages. First love language I want to talk about is physical touch. Physical touch. You can't even touch your own face at the moment. So this one is a bit of a problem in 2020. So I don't know where you are in the world, but in the UK, physical touch, probably not. We're not that great at physical touch at the best of times. And now it's all like, you go to meet your friend and you're like, oh, I don't want to hug you. Oh, should we hug each other? I don't know. And some of our friends will go in for a hug and then others are like, no, get away from me. I don't want to catch COVID-19. So yes, physical touch is a bit of a problem at the moment. So if your primary love language is physical touch, you may have been struggling a little bit more than everybody else when it comes to being isolated from other people, when it comes to just socializing. If you're someone who likes to embrace people and that is taken away from you, that can feel very jarring and very distressing. But don't panic, because some of the love languages we can still do. So let's focus a little bit more on what we can do rather on the things that we can't do at the moment. So physical touch is hand holding, touching, stroking, massage, sex, but it's not all about sex. I'm quite big on physical touch. I have to have a daily cuddle, love a good spoon, but if someone strokes my arm, I'm like, get away from me, I hate that. So you have to be cautious about the type of physical touch. So if you're in a relationship, it's really good to communicate with your partner what kind of touch they like and what kind of touch they definitely don't like. And of course, when it comes to dating at the moment, don't force touch with people. Don't force touch with people anyway, but at the moment, just be extra cautious around boundaries and extra respectful of the fact that we're not really meant to be touching each other, and be aware that, you know, there are other ways around this and there are other ways that we can communicate our love. Second love language is words of affirmation. So words of affirmation are words that lift people up rather than putting them down. The opposite of words of affirmation would be words of defamation. Obviously, you don't want to go around, well, I say obviously, but some people really seem to enjoy it, so I don't really understand. But I'd like to say that it was obvious that going around saying mean things to people online, offline, or otherwise just isn't great, and we don't want to be doing that. But some people do appear to enjoy being a bit mean. So we want to stay clear away from those people and focus on using our words in a good, positive way. I think we should all start to compliment each other a little bit more, and I think we should maybe avoid the internet if we cannot control our trolling fingers, and if we don't have anything nice to say, perhaps don't say it. I feel that at the moment, sometimes people are going online to vent their frustrations. However, this isn't always the most positive thing to do, and it does have an impact on other people's moods. So have a little think about how the language that you use impacts the people around you, and start to think about how you can use words in a positive way. Could you start to be a little bit more encouraging of your colleagues? Could you drop in a compliment a little bit sooner with people? Say it if you've got something nice to say. Don't say it if you don't have anything nice to say. You will become a much more likable and lovable person. You're more likely to find love. You're more likely to have more friends if the language you use is positive. Compliment people. In fact, for the rest of August, which by the way is Romance Awareness Month, I recommend that you, or should I say I challenge you, to compliment one person every single day for the whole of month of August. Perhaps not the same person every single day, because it might become a little bit overwhelming for them, especially if they're like, what's happened to this person? They've never complimented me before. It's happening every day. This is bizarre. So maybe a nice compliment every single day. Compliment a stranger. Compliment someone that is just a friend. Lift people up. Did you know that men receive fewer compliments than women do, and therefore seek more affirmation verbally from their romantic partners? So if you're a woman and you're dating a man, compliment him. Compliment him every single day, and you will find that you have a happier person to deal with and date. The next love language that I want to talk about is gifts. Most of us enjoy a lovely gift, but some of us really do use gifts to show our appreciation of those that we love. So some of us will be thinking, oh gosh, this person seems like a gift person and I never feel like getting them anything back. I can't see the point. It's a waste of money. Why bother? Why does she even care that I've missed her birthday? As if it matters. So if you think like that, you're probably not a gifts person. It's probably not your primary love language. So what I would say, if you're not a gifts person but you're dating someone who is, it is useful to adapt to your partner and take into consideration that they don't think quite the same way that you do. I think we can often fall into the habit of believing that other people just think on our wavelength and then feeling disappointed when they don't. And yet it's unlikely that the person you're with is always going to be on the exact same page as you. So if you're dating someone who you think is a gifts type of person, you might panic a little bit and think, oh, it's a lot of money to be spending. But what I would say is that it doesn't matter about the cost of the gift. It's all about the thought. It's the thought that counts. So have a think about it and think about ways in which you can begin to start sending gifts out to people that you love. Now that we're in coronavirus times, sending gifts, it is still possible when we can't see people that we love. So perhaps you could send someone a handmade card. Perhaps you could create a collage of photographs of you and them together and send it to them. Or you could post a book to them of something that you've read and you want them to read, or something that they've mentioned in the past and you are now gifting it to them because there is a little bit more time to be doing a bit of reading and you haven't seen them for a while and this made you think of them. Someone who is a gifts person is going to really, really enjoy this, and it's nothing to do with money. A little trick to help you with your gift inspiration would be to start to make an effort to write down whenever your loved ones mention things that they like, because then when you get to Christmas, you've got a whole list of things that will hopefully help to inspire you when it comes to buying gifts. The fourth love language is quality time. Quality time is all about that one-on-one focused attention where you're actually listening to the other person. It's one-on-one interaction. So at the moment, it's a bit more difficult to have quality time with the people that we love. However, we can get onto Skype or Zoom or whatever virtual means you want to communicate through. You can pick up the phone and have a phone call, and you can communicate through text. If it's quality time, it means that you are really listening to what the person says. You're really asking questions. So if you go on a date with someone, getting your phone out would anger someone if their love language was quality time. If you're a quality time person, you will get very frustrated if you feel that you're not heard, and you probably don't care so much about gifts, you probably don't care so much about physical touch, but you really do value when someone is there for you, physically in person. 2020, bit bad for the quality time people, so you may be struggling if you really like to spend time together with those that you love. My only advice would be to make sure that you're still maintaining contact with those people, that you make time to have virtual calls and phone calls and things like that, and that you do implement some visits with people at a social distance. I would argue that if you're on a Zoom call and you're both focused on each other, that is still quality time. If it's a phone call, as long as you're still listening, that still is quality time. Get rid of all distractions and remember to really listen and to really ask questions of those people that you think quality time is important to. If you're in a couple, I think 2020 has been more difficult. I think it's been more difficult regardless of your relationship status. For me and my boyfriend, we have 10 minutes every day where we try to have a conversation that's not about the logistics of the household. Quality conversations are conversations that involve you talking about things like your dreams, your hopes, your fears, your ambitions, your aspirations, the things that you want to do in the future together, the holidays that you want to go on together, childhood memories. If you're mostly only communicating with your partner about things that are quite logistical, like the bills, the household chores, the children and work, that will eventually chip away at your relationship, and you will both over time become less happy and less satisfied in the relationship. Strive to learn something new about your partner every single day. And it doesn't matter how long you've been with someone, there's always something that you don't know about them. So seek to learn more from them. Seek to really get to know them still. Never stop learning about the person that you love. My final love language is acts of service. I would imagine that the acts of service people are the people that are really keen to help out when there's a crisis. They're the people that are taking food and deliveries to the elderly during coronavirus. They're the people that show up and cook for you when you're not well. They're the people that if there's something broken in your house, they're going to come around and fix it. This is the way that those people show their love for you. My dad is an absolutely massive acts of service person. It's easier, genuinely, to get my dad to drive across the country and bring me back to Cheshire, which is hundreds of miles away, than it is to get him to send me an actual gift on my birthday. And this used to really bother me, but it doesn't bother me anymore because I now realise that that's just not the way he operates, and just let him be. That's how I see it. It's like he shows his love in a slightly different way to what I would like. However, I know how he's showing me his love, and I know that it's there, and all that matters to me is that he loves me. So if your partner or your family member isn't showing you love in one language, have a think, are they showing me love in a language that I just haven't thought about yet? If you get very angry with your partner when they don't do the laundry, you might be an acts of service person. Or if you feel very hurt if your flatmate just won't take the bin out, you take it really personally if you're an acts of service person. So ask yourself now, does this mean that I'm an acts of service person and that they're not actually actively trying to offend me? They just don't get it because they don't see things the way that I see them. I think the 5 love languages are really important because it opens our minds up to the idea that, you know, some of us are better at communicating love than others, but it doesn't mean that the other people don't feel the love. What I will say though is that don't use this as like a get out of jail free card and be like, well, you know, I'm just not a gifts kind of guy, so afraid that I'm just gonna have to fix the fence and you're not gonna get any presents from this point forward. Use this as an opportunity to have a reflect on how you communicate love and how you can communicate love in a different way, in a way that people can see, feel and enjoy. Thank you so much for watching today. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. If you would like some dating coaching from yours truly, please do head on over to my website and follow me on social media @AbbieBlairs. Bye-bye.